People can't afford their bills, can't get the police to investigate crimes, can't get a doctor's appointment. Does that really sound like pretty good shape to him?
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, what's the record since 2010?
I can hear you.
Since 2010, crime down by 50%.
Just watching little Rishi Sunak try and be a tough guy, but he can't because he's... biggest is the billionaire borrower, isn't he? Oh, look, here we go. Old Mr. Softy here. Mr. Speaker, who's going to ramble something about tea and like fluff up the opposite. Well, I think he's just tickled the balls of Sunak, to be fair. But oh shit, sorry. Oh, sorry. No.
Mr. Speaker, either the Prime Minister doesn't use the same public services as the rest of us, or he simply can't see the damage they've done to our country.
What?
In 2019, Ariel Lee, a convicted people smuggler, threw boiling water over a prison officer, leaving him with first-degree burns. The prison officer said it felt like acid. His face was on fire.
Jesus.
His attacker was found guilty, received a prison sentence, quite right in my view. Does the Prime Minister agree?
Are you okay, Tan? Right. My audio wasn't working.
It is clear on sentencing. It was this party and this government that passed the Sentencing Act last year.
The Sentencing Act, though, yeah, that's really helped.
Yeah, massively. That's why, like, you know, someone nearly got stabbed to death out the back of my house the other week. So,
Oh, they're tough on crime and the causes of crime.
And I live in a constituency that's got a Tory minister.
It was the Labour Party who voted against it.
Oh.
Why weren't you for poor post? They always do this. You never help me out.
Ariel's sentence ended up being suspended.
Gun stamps.
And anyone watching this would wonder why someone who violently
attacked a key worker... flip it. This is such a big problem at the moment, the waiting list.
Yeah.
It's because it took 16 months for the attacker to be charged. That's ridiculous.
Wow.
And it took another 2 years before he was sentenced.
Yeah, and courts are literally falling apart.
Yes, they are.
Their ceilings are falling in.
Because they've lost control of the courts. Because they've created the largest court backlog on record.
On record.
Cracking down on grooming gangs. What you're doing is you're promoting divisive racist culture wars, you absolute penis.
Safe for work, Tan. Safe for work. You're a little ahead of my feed. You're about 5 seconds ahead of my feed.
Oh, it's just little Rishi Sunak talking a whole lot of nonsense.
Oh.
Increased rape convictions by over 60%. Meanwhile,
have you?
He attended.
Mr. Softy, coming from a guy who looks like he could at best thumb it in. Sorry, it's got to be so.
That's why they call him the Softy. Soft on crime, soft on criminals.
Tan, safe for work, Tan. Safe for work.
Thousands upon thousands of sex offenders.
Yeah.
He's just shown he doesn't understand how the criminal justice system works. No wonder he can't fix it.
And give him some.
Cracking down on crime is suspending a sentence where someone should be in prison. That shows the problem. And another reason, Mr. Speaker, another reason cited by the court for suspending the sentence in Ariel
Dominic
Lee's
Raab looks like he's been on the gap.
was a letter from the Justice Secretary in February about prison overcrowding.
Someo's calling Sunak a human suppository.
Courts have been told to have awareness.
No, that would imply he has a use.
When passing sentences. In simple terms, the wrecking ball
he should stop shaking his head.
to criminal justice means that thousands of people who should be in prison aren't.
Yes.
The court also said...
Yes, it is the government's decision.
The court also said that it's for the government to say...
good knock at old tomatoey Raab there.
Now, I know
Preta Minjay.
Look at him. Little horrible little bully man.
Yeah.
What was it 24 accusations of bullying? 24 accusations. Lies.
Mr. Speaker, we're in the process
He had a bit of a problem though when you know, the tomato shortage happened because, you know, he couldn't find any to chuck at civil servants.
and making sure that our most serious offenders spend longer there.
Oh look at Will from in between us now. I read, but
I was looking at this because
Cocker. Sorry.
Tan, can you pause your feed for about 5 seconds and then press play again? Because you're a few seconds ahead. Spoilers.
That was his shadow attorney general.
Go.
He just said Shadow Attorney General.
It's just him being. It's just him being Will from in between. He's being a briefcase. Oh God, what's a safe for work word for wank? Sorry.
An honorist. Onerist. God, cup of tea, man. Cup of tea, man's talking. Would you like a cup of tea? Anyone want a cup of tea? Yorkshire tea.
Anyone want a cup of tea?
Anyone want some tea?
Benches migrate to supporters. In 2013, the Home Affairs Select Committee said.
Hey, Starmer's reading out his own glowing reports now. This is genius.
Striven to improve the treatment.
Pick yourself up, Stormzy.
They go on to say.
Oh, hello, Mr. Softy. Prime Minister's questions matter to our constituents.
I wonder if I were you.
I'm trying to get through it.
I want to get through it because I'm
Trying to cope.
Prime Minister and the leader, you're not being helpful. We'll hear this question no matter how long it takes. Keir Starmer.
Mr. Speaker.
Bring back Burko, man.
Order.
Bring back Burko.
Stevenson, I've heard.
Yeah, but he was problematic, wasn't he?
I've heard a few weeks. This is the last week. I suggest you quiet, or it's better you leave. Keir Starmer.
Mr. Speaker, this is the Home Affairs Select Committee in 2013. They go on
He's
to
literally
say
reading out his own
provide
5-star
a
reviews,
model
man.
to other agencies, or when he leaves the CPS, he will be missed. Now, that report was presented to Parliament by the then Home Secretary, future Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Member for Maidenhead. And the government, those pinches, noted and supported it. Now, it's obviously always a good look to have your work recognised, although they did lay it on a bit thick. So perhaps the Prime Minister will spend less time trying to rewrite history and more time sorting out the mess he's made of criminal justice. Because the crisis
all our public services are absolutely on their arse.
of public services collapsing under his watch. People can see it wherever they look. Our roads, our trains, the NHS, the asylum system, policing, mental health provision. The Tories have broken them all, and all they've got left is excuses and blame. Now, I know the Prime Minister would rather talk about a maths lesson than the state of the country, but perhaps he could solve this equation. Why, after 13 years of a Tory government, are patients waiting longer than ever, criminals walking free, growth non-existent, and why everywhere you look,
good point, man.
does nothing seem to work at all?
We all know why, because they're too busy stuffing their pockets with their second and third jobs.
Indeed.
Mr. Speaker, I can't.
Thumbed off saying that the Tories are killing people with their cruelty.
Well, keep up, Sunak. It's your job, mate. You know, the least you can do is follow a question.
I'm actually glad he brought that up, because there was something else that happened when he was DPP in 2013. And that was...
There was something else that happened in
Mr.
2013.
Speaker, I've got it right here. It's the pensions...
Oh, he thinks he's got a gotcha, but he's just like... He just looks like a 7-year-old boy in a man suit. A bad man suit.
Can I just say...
Oh, Hoyle, for God's sake.
Both sides to listen to the questions and the answers.
It's the Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, here it is. It's the pensions increase pension screen for Keir Starmer, QC, 2013. God. Now, while we're introducing a...
Bet he didn't lose his virginity until he was like 28.
He wants to raise taxes on public sector workers. And it's literally...
Tax rises, mate. We've never had bigger tax rises. Ever. On record. And you're putting them in. Our public services all completely on their arse.
Yeah.
Where's the money going? Where's the money going?
Double down on you. Please,
God, she's posh.
Hello.
What I did was I requested we have more gold-plated eggs for the elderly.
All female Tory MPs are like Hyacinth Bouquet, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or Eva Braun. One of the two.
What we need ornaments for old people. More ornaments. To death in their own homes.
Golly, sit down. You. God, I'm struggling not to swear. I didn't know this was going to be not safe for work. Safe for work.
Sorry, I just dropped that on Tan at the last minute there.
I'm having to hold in, like I'm having to, like I feel like I'm going to have an aneurysm. I'm having to try and hold in with fury.
I did have Tan on this side of the screen, but my computer couldn't handle all the video feeds coming in and out. So just as we went live, it kind of pooed its pants. So sorry about that, but you can still hear Tan, which is good.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, right. Oh, hello, Stephen Flynn. He's always good for a laugh.
Yeah, in like Flynn.
In like Flynn.
Although the SNP's not looking too rosy at the moment, is it?
Who? Oh no, SNP. Everything's going a bit boobs up, innit?
Yes, it has indeed.
God, that was a struggle.
Did Lindsay just mention tea?
Oh, probably.
He's delighted to hear.
He should drink a cup of balls, man. Like he hasn't got any.
Prime Minister, was it their refusal to stand alongside striking workers on the picket line? Their acceptance.
Oh, why are you laying into Labour, you absolute penis?
It's Prime Minister's questions.
Yeah.
It's Prime Minister's questions.
Is that because you're all pooping your pants a little bit because of the old caravan and all the money that's...
yeah, the caravan of money. The caravan of love.
It gets on my nerves, right? Because I don't knock the SNP, and this thing that's happening with the SNP is a gift to Labour, and I'm not gloating. I'm not saying this is brilliant. I'm sporting about SNP because if I could be independent, I bloody would. I really would.
Yeah, I've got a lot of support. I've got a lot of good feelings towards the SNP, but they have not showered themselves in glory recently for other reasons.
No, like this is. I've got no beef with them.
Mr. Speaker, let me be clear. We will take no lectures.
But they should keep their focus on the government.
Yeah. Eye on the prize.
Because they're good at it. They're good at attacking the government.
The economy, who said mortgage rates soaring, who've taken energy support away from families most in need.
And the Tories have no moral high ground when it comes to police charges.
But twice, who take donations from Russian-backed donors and who, of course, have stuck salons with people like Baroness Moon. But, Mr. Speaker, let's be clear. What we're talking about is the fact that the leader of the Scottish Conservatives believes that the people of Scotland should return.
That was a weird move. He retracted that pretty quick. The whole.
Rather than Scottish National Party members to this House. So isn't the message to the people of Scotland quite clear? Don't give the Tories what they want.
But you are giving them what they want by...
The Scottish Conservatives
I know. He was a bit of a bellend on Question Time too, which is annoying because I've got a lot of time for him generally. Like I think he's good. Yeah, I think he's fine. But like,
return scheme, Mr. Speaker.
It's like what he's got to realise is like they're up to their knees in doo-doo at the moment. Like they can't just giving it the, you know, it's really hard for me not to swear. Like I don't know how to do non-swearing swearing.
I know. We should have like a swear jar.
Fix the mess that she left Scotland in.
Step away from the swear jar. Oh shoot! I've just lost my feed. Hang on.
The junior doctors' strike is causing
David Davis is on his feet. Swiss Tony.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Swiss Tony. Well, Brexiting the EU is a lot like making love to a beautiful woman.
What you got to do is leave her in a ditch. Better not give the Tories ideas, man, because Jesus, you know what they're like. They love sex crime, don't they?
You've got to pull out and go back to your house and realise that it's been repossessed and sit in the gutter and cry yourself to sleep.
The UK. He's right to highlight the
impact on patient safety, and that's why this government has brought forward minimum safety
Gullis
legislation
jumping up and down like a demented Jack in the Box.
On a core level of emergency service,
it's much like
vital patient care. That's something that we on this side
oh,
of the
look
House
at Stephen
support,
Barclay.
but I know
What?
it's not something
Oh,
that's supported
God, I can't
by the
stand that
party opposite.
badger looking.
Speaker,
face.
Supertanskiii is the #1 reason that children over 4 end up in hospital.
Rob looks like he's entering a K-hole at the moment.
But too many parents can't get one.
Tooth decay? Davey, you are leading with tooth decay?
Almost 3,000 people.
Oh, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're in pain.
Places like
I kinda get
Herefordshire
this.
and Norfolk,
It does-
fewer than 2 in 5 children were seen by
You're allowed to ask one question,
in
mate.
the past year. This is a scandal.
you can't get, like,
So will the Prime Minister
you can't get a dentist. Like, my housemate, they needed a dentist. The next emergency appointment, because they had an infection and were in, like, agony, was in, like, months. Like, 5 months away was the emergency appointment.
Do you want to turn your video on? We'll try and get your video on again.
Oh, let's give it a go.
If it fails miserably and we stop broadcasting.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Sorry to anyone if this doesn't work, but we're going to give it a go. There we go. That's Tan. It's Tan. Look, she's on the screen. You on the screen?
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. The Prime Minister's question time on the 4th of February.
Watching it on my phone.
Like a weird thing coming up on the screen that tells me who's talking. I do not need this. Oh no! Oh no! My other feed's gone. I'm getting like the little circle of death, Tan. You're gonna have to turn your video off. Sorry. Sorry.
Falls foul of a 10-year moratorium on new funding.
Yeah.
The line is only as
Damn
resilient
it.
as
If you'd like to join the fund
will the Prime Minister commit to getting this resilience
for a better
on track and fully funded?
would you like to join the
Mr.
fund?
Speaker, we're committed to
Like,
improving the resilience of
me a
this
bloody
iconic stretch of railway. It provides a vital link for people in the
laptop.
southwest. That's why today we've invested over £165 million.
There you go.
in
So
delivering
you
solutions
could
to
see
protect
Tan
the
for a
line,
moment
and a
there, but
network
obviously I
where
lost the
continuing
feed to the actual
develop the
thing that
case
we're
for
commenting
further
on. So
investment, and my honourable friend will be
Oh,
technology.
oh, sorry.
My ambition outweighs the technology. I feel like the George Lucas of swearing at PMQs. I like this guy. He looks like he owns a bookshop.
Both bringing investment, jobs and opportunity. However,
Here
the
to
UK
tell
government seems to have a
you
problem
about
with
this
this.
book that I really
I've
like.
lost the flipping feed.
Have you lost the feed? Oh my God.
Taxes. UK ambassadors
Internet
and
troubles.
diplomats have been instructed to obstruct the Scottish government.
No, I don't know. I just give up on life.
Every foreign nation worldwide told not to deal with the Scottish government directly. This, Mr. Speaker, is
Chris Law from Dundee West from the SNP is bringing up the fact that James cleverly wrote to every single diplomat in the world telling them to ignore the SNP.
Really?
Yeah. It was like, what? Did this really happen?
Scotland's short time left in this unequal union
What?
Scotland will neither be put back in a box or will be bending knee.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm actually pleased
Stand
to
up
say
soon,
that we
Ack.
are
Oh, he
supporting
is standing.
the communities of Dundee.
Yeah, you can't tell though, can you? Because he's so tiny.
In the Levelling Up Fund to support green transport in the city
PM
centre.
pocket.
It's a demonstration of the
in your
UK
pocket.
government wanting to invest in Scotland and deliver for Scottish people.
Polly Cocket.
I don't know, Ben, in the chat, if it's my broadband. I think it's my laptop. It just can't handle all these feeds all at once.
National Autistic Society, Alfie's mission is to walk 15,000 steps every day in the month of April to raise awareness around autism and to show that every autistic person deserves the best chance in life. This Saturday,
So, Tan, they do this every week. They invariably a Conservative will stand up and say, "Isn't childhood leukemia bad?" And the Prime Minister go, "Yes."
And
then
do it
nothing
every
about
week. They do nothing about it. They just go, "Isn't this bad thing bad?" And he's like, "Yeah. Oh my God, yeah, that's a bad thing that's happened to that
He's
good
an
person."
inspiration not just to his community, but to many others,
like,
and I wish him the
it's got
best
to a
of luck
point now
for
where
Saturday.
it's
Our
so
autism strategy sets out our ambition to ensure that autistic
it's
people
grotesque.
across all
Do you know what I
parts of the
mean?
country
It's like
get the support they need to live fulfilling and happy lives.
Yeah,
And I
it's
look forward to
it's
seeing,
grim because they're
Alfie's
doing
progress on the
absolutely
West City.
nothing.
they're doing absolutely nothing, paying lip service to these real, genuine problems that people are having. thing.
Yeah, so they bring it up and they go, oh yeah, we're going to do something about it, do nothing about it. Meanwhile, kids are dying, people are dying,
Kids are going hungry in this country. I mean, what?
Despite years of
Duke is asking me how much RAM I have. Just 16 gigabytes in this particular laptop. Don't worry, I'm in negotiations with a mutual friend of ours who might be able to supply me with a desktop PC with a decent amount of RAM. So hopefully in the future, Tan will be able to do this. No problemo.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I pay tribute to all.
Right, okay, I'm going back to the live feed now because I'm having internet problems too.
I'm glad it's not just me.
What are you on now? Are you on?
I'm on Rishi Sunak standing up and he's talking about pay settlements and voting in support of them.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would my right honourable friend agree with me?
Shailesh
Those who
Vara.
seek to criticise the Conservative record on law and order should look in the mirror and ask the question, who was director of public prosecutions for some of those years?
No, it's Akeem. Oh no, it's someone else now.
Just sat down. Shailesh Vara's just sat down on my feet.
Is absolutely right.
Yeah. And he's like talking a load of nonsense about statistics that don't actually add up at all.
Yes, as always.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a Conservative way, isn't it?
Lying violently.
Lying.
Are giving them the powers they need to tackle violent protests.
Owen Thompson.
Mr. Speaker,
Okay, who's this fella, this Scottish fella?
In Turkey for 5 weeks now after her husband suffered a
Is there some fella?
brain bleed and is now in intensive care after their holiday
Owen Thompson, right, that's
insurance
just
stayed
come
short,
up on my screen.
refused to pay medical bills and have so far refused to engage with
It's just come up on my screen now. You might be a bit ahead of me now.
I can't go back because it's like if you try and go back just a tiny bit.
No, just pause it. Just pause it and then press play again.
That's a good idea, isn't it?
To pay for an air ambulance
Go
to bring
back.
them home. Will the Prime
can't go back,
Minister
Kate.
meet
You
with
can't go
me
back.
to consider all the possible options to support constituents like
Naughty
Anne and her
Pincher.
husband in difficult situations
This
like
is-
especially where
where's
insurance
Pincher?
companies abdicate all
I
responsibility.
don't know. Did he lose the whip? He's gone, isn't he?
Oh yeah, for being a massive wrongcock. Yeah.
Wrongun,
I'm sure
you mean?
everyone's will be with Anne and her husband.
It's fine. It's a type. I'm of course referring to chickens.
One of the commenters, Dukey, said, Mr. Speaker, can I ask the non-PM some crap that doesn't matter to distract everyone from our failures? It's what they do each week. Duke Vengeance wants to know where Doris is.
I mean, when you think about it, like PMQs is kind of like a bit like a rubbish posh rap battle or drill rap, isn't it? It's like except just crap, like and these are the people who stop our money, you know.
Epic
And it's
rap battles of Parliament.
That's why that Munya Chawla like video where he did like the Truss versus Keir Starmer was genius, man.
My honourable friend is, of course,
Dear God, Liz Truss.
Oh, what a mess.
Those in Conservative councils.
It was the rogue economists that stopped me from achieving my goal of bankrupting the country.
It's just pure Trumpism, man. 100% Trumpism. Like
disgrace.
Thank you, Mr. This week, the Women's
pork
Rights
markets. There's
Network
literally no
published a report
thought
where
in her
criminal
brain.
justice Professor Joe
Like
Davis
nothing. It's
called
just blank.
When We
It's
Are
like
Our
fog in
Most
there.
Vulnerable, revealing that between
Oh,
January
Rosie
2019
Duffield.
and
No,
October
mate.
2022, which includes
What are you
the
gonna
pandemic
say?
lockdown, of course, there were a staggering 6,531
Why is she wearing a dog tag?
reported
Is she going
rapes
off to
and sexual
Vietnam?
assaults in UK hospital settings. That's an average of 33 incidents
Rapes
every
in
single
hospitals,
week.
man, that's
And as
intense.
8 police forces
I heard
do
a
not
really
provide any
shocking
data,
story
the real figures are
about,
bound to be significantly higher.
like
What
the
can
sexual
Prime
harassment that
Minister
happens
and
amongst
his government
staff,
do to ensure that
where
women, staff
a woman
and
was driven
patients
out of
are
her
safe in
hospital
Britain's hospitals?
because the anaesthetist was commenting on the body of the woman that he was about to be cut open.
Oh, God.
Well, he was unconscious, saying things like, "Oh, she should have shaved for us," and all this kind of stuff, and
these issues.
the assistants being kind of like touched up by like the surgeons and the anaesthetists and stuff. Like even in hospital, like You know what I mean? The place.
You know, scumbags exist pretty much everywhere, don't they? So.
But I didn't realise
it's just that you need that oversight, and you need to make sure there's no culture for that kind of thing, accepting culture where people just turn a blind eye.
But there is. It's perpetrated by all of society, like literally all of society. It's everywhere. It's ingrained because there's no deterrent.
Congratulating the volunteers, the local community.
What, for fixing your problem, Simon Baines?
Oh, look, there's that.
We fixed the Bleaching Acts. That was the Tory policy in the 1960s. 60 years later, it's okay, we're fixing it now. Using volunteers and people giving their hard-earned money to us.
To my honourable friend for all his
Brendan Clark.
On this. I'm
Bell End in the background there, like sitting there with his, like, I don't think he even knows where he is. He's so dense. That man's denser than Osmium, I tell you. Nothing going on in his brain. Nothing, not a thought in his little head. Oh, look at him. Oh, yeah, we're doing so well, aren't we?
Yes, they're doing really well, those people that are fixing the problems that my party made 60 years ago that we're still having to clean up today.
Speaker, over recess I was invited to
the
visit
audacity of these clowns
in my constituency to discuss food waste. But what struck me most was the experience of
Bleaching
top
Acts,
workers
nothing
on the
to do with
front
us.
line. They told me they expect to suffer a violent assault every single day they go to work. So while more maths might always be helpful, what is this out-of-touch Prime Minister doing to make sure that people can be safe in their workplace?
Well, Mr. Speaker, everyone deserves,
sort out society, which you systematically ruined. That might be a start. I mean, it's just all roads lead back to them just being useless. I can't. I'm struggling to say this without swearing.
That's the challenge, Tan. That's the challenge.
Teamwork delivered Golden Wanderers' superb 4-0 victory in the Papa John's Trophy at Wembley. It's delivering
why is there a tiny Tory?
And delivered Ayub Patel's
tiny Tory.
Yeah, he looks like a weeble.
So
he looks like a little weeble. If you pushed him over, he'll just bounce back up again.
And all the campaigners, candidates, and activists as we run into this festival of democracy, our local elections.
Festival of democracy. Local elections that you now need ID for.
Yeah.
Festival of fascism, more like. People.
In Plymouth. Especially actually our party chairman, who's an avid supporter of the Green Army. But most importantly, I welcome the election of Councillor
the Green Army.
The Green Army. Him joining our other councillors in delivering for their local areas with less crime.
God, do you know what? I didn't used to despise Sunak. I didn't used to. I just thought he was just a bit of a slimy, you know. But I just thought it was a bit like fluffy and privileged, right? But now I absolutely despise him.
Yeah. Yeah.
A big part of it is the passive aggression of the guy, and
he's never lived in the real world, Tan. He's never lived in the real world.
Of course he hasn't. He's like, he reminds me of the public school boys, the private school boys that used to live like in my little village where I grew up. I grew up in the rough bit, and just the smirking entitlement of the guy.
The Prime Minister and his party promised our
they see this job as a birthright.
But what's the point of a
and they're the least qualified people to have it in the world.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure I recognise
left a wall of words on Facebook for some reason. But got rid of that, don't worry.
What?
Someone left a massive comment and just pushed all the other comments off the page.
Was it? Yeah, well,
I got rid of it. I got rid of it. Peter's saying, you've done brilliant so far, Tan. Maybe send a tweet with just swear words to get it out of your system afterwards.
You wouldn't know the challenge it's taken. Plus, I'm like, it was a bit stressful trying to get this set up, so I'm a bit a bit off my game, to be honest with you.
Where's Boris? Asks Plumduff. And Vendetta says, on holiday again. Still paying him 80 grand a year to not be there.
Attending to the manor house that he's bought with
someone else's money.
The 800 grand loan facilitated by Richard Sharp, BBC chairman.
That completes Prime Minister's questions.
Right, that completes Prime Minister's questions, Tan. Oh my word. So that was fun. That was fun. I'm really sorry. Do you want to turn your camera back on?
Okay, yeah. Bear with me a sec.
And I will just get rid of this. And I need to. Brilliant. Right, let's do this live. I'm going to try and sort this so you actually appear. No, that's the wrong one. I don't want that. I want that one. Hey, there she is. Hello, Tan. Hello.
That was not the easiest way of doing it.
No, it wasn't. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Well, honestly, if I get a new PC, if I get a new computer that's actually got a bit of RAM about it, we might be able to just about do this. But yeah, it was as soon as I started to basically, I'm going to change that to the House of Commons. It looks like we're sitting in the House of Commons now. Yeah, I'll send that to you, so you should be able to see that now. So that's.
Oh, right, okay.
There you go. So you can see the top of your head's cut off. You might need to lean back a little bit. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I'm just trying to get.
Yeah, there you
go.
Everything's going wrong.
Oh, for God's sake.
You turned the video off.
Oh,
live, mate. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Won't let me go back on. Hang on a minute.
Don't worry.
My computer's frozen.
Oh, shit.
God's sake.
I can still hear you. I can still hear you.
I can't move my mouse.
Oh, it's okay. Leave the video off. We can hear you. We're pretending it's a call. It's a telephone call.
It's been. So is this still not safe for work? Is this still safe for work?
Yeah, it is. We're still streaming. We're still streaming. I mean, you got all these swear words that you just got in your head, and you just need to get them out.
It's not so much that. It's just not like I have to do them. It's just that when I kind of talk about the Conservatives, they just kind of naturally come out. Like it's just, it's just like, you know. Yeah, it's not the greatest, but I can't help it. They're just such.
We've got some great comments here. We've got Silent Adel saying, I think it's Adel, saying a wild Tansky appears. Sorry, this made me laugh.
A what?
A wild Tansky appears. You know, like in Pokemon, when a Pokemon appears, it says a wild Bulbasaur appears.
Oh, I see.
Sorry, it's like a 25-year-old joke, but I'm so old. Did you see the Conservatives have a common sense group? Have you seen the members? We are so insert swear word. P.S. Graham, this SFW thing is killing me. So the Tories apparently have a common sense group, Tan.
Yeah, I have heard about this.
What?
One of the. It's like the biggest, like the most ironic thing I've ever heard in my life, really, when you come down to
From
it.
From the party with no common sense whatsoever comes the common sense group.
It's just unbelievable. And you just know that to them it's like, well, it's common sense to be massively racist. You know, it's like it's what we're all thinking, isn't it? You know, it's just weird.
Yeah.
Like they've got like the ERG as well, which is funded by us, but none of us are allowed to know what the hell's going on there.
We're not allowed to know who the members are. They won't publish a list of the members.
No, we're funding it, but we've got no say in it whatsoever.
It's crazy, isn't it? Normal crazy. Just normal crazy.
Oh God, I just despair. Like I'm just so hoping that they get a battering in the locals. You know, that would be my my dream, my obsession.
That would be a nice dream. Put myself in the middle.
I hope they have to extend the graphs again. You know.
Yes. Well, I hope that the Tories just get destroyed. I want them destroyed in the next election. I just don't want them to be a party anymore. I think they've done the dash, and they shouldn't be allowed to go on anymore because they've done so much damage to this country. It's unbelievable. But like them standing up there and saying about beaching and like reversing the beaching acts that they brought in. You know, in 60 years' time, are they going to be celebrating a group of community volunteers who managed to like reverse a tiny little bit of the damage of Brexit and going it? We should applaud these volunteers who went out and reversed this effective Brexit in their tiny village, which has had no food for the last 6 months.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, I'm wondering how it's going to go, because I know that there's a lot of Tory dissatisfaction. There is, and I'm really hoping that turns into a tactical vote, because we all know that the natural progression for most Conservatives is over to the Lib Dems. But I'm wondering if, there are some Tories that are just going, nah, had it, going right over the other way. But the voter ID and the suppression of people's democratic right with the voter ID is a real concern, because it's hard enough to get people to the polls anyway. They know it. They know it's hard enough to get people to the polling booth, sorry. So they're just literally just putting more obstacles in the way of people and disenfranchising the disabled, the poor, people of colour, who generally statistically to not have voter ID. So it's just another con job. Like they're pulling out all the stops, really. And the Electoral Commission, well, it's been a very slow react to it. It's all deliberate. Like it's just obvious what they're doing. That it's rigging. It is rigging.
It's really painful, isn't it? Vendetta says, Tan, pull out your camera and plug it back in. I think the camera's attached to the laptop, so that might be a bit difficult.
Well, it is. And I'm running perilously low on coffee, so...
Well, we're going to wrap it up in a minute. I thought they were going to go on till 1:45. They normally go on till 1:45, but they seem to wrap up early today. Have they got something else on? So where they need to be?
Yeah, I mean, down at the Carlton for a couple of
one of the 47 bars in the House of Commons that are subsidised by us.
Christ,
how do you feel about subsidising the beer of a multi-millionaire?
Well, I'm not allowed to swear, am I, Graham? So
no.
Why?
I can't ask you these questions. Maybe we'll do a late night version of this.
Just imagine a litany of beeps.
I should have got that on, lined up like every time. You got to say beep, beep.
Well, we need to do that. Question time live. I think that would be, and that would be definitely after the watershed, wouldn't it?
Yes, yes, it would. But I can that'll be edited, so I can beep that afterwards. It won't be going out live, I don't think.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah, I mean, I get away with it on YouTube. I don't understand how I get away with it on YouTube. Like, I swear like a sailor. I mean, and people think it's like something that's done voluntarily. Like it's really not. Like
it's an involuntary tick caused by the Conservatives. Again, it's all their fault. Everything's all... So I just want to jump in because number 3 saying there's 47 bars in Parliament. There isn't 47 bars. There's quite a few. I think there's 47. I was slightly exaggerating. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's something like, well, there's more than there should be in a place where people that legislate are. I mean, if you think about it, like I wouldn't... Like I popped round to my neighbours who have recently moved here. We've formed a little community around them, and because they arrived here as immigrants to work in the NHS and they had nothing, right?
Yeah.
And it's Rita's birthday today.
And they're from Nigeria.
They came over from Nigeria. They just had the clothes on their back. It cost them thousands to get here. So we all pulled round to get them like furniture and stuff. And it's Rita's birthday. So I popped round with a bottle of sparkling rosé, and I had a little glass with them, right? And then I had to do all this, and it's ruined my brain. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's ruined my brain. So, and I've not got to go and vote on a really important law in a minute. Yeah. Imagine, like they're just getting tanked up right, all afternoon.
You've seen that footage, haven't you, of Gove barely being able to stand up by the Speaker's chair, and it's like, what is going on there? And like, this is a place of work. They're supposed to be working on laws that affect us all. Like, if you were working in a McDonald's on the other side of the country that doesn't affect me or you in any way, shape or form, and you turned up drunk, they would sack you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like rightly so. Like it would be fair enough. I mean, and everyone knows, anyone that's ever worked in a crappy 9 to 5, right, knows that if you go out on your lunch break and you work in a place you hate and you have a couple on your lunch break, then you go back to work, you are useless. Like you're not doing anything.
Well, I'm with V for Vendetta about Parliament. Like I think that the current setup of it, just the geography of it, is just all wrong. It shouldn't be in London. It shouldn't be benches facing each other. Like it should be a circular room like they have in other countries, like they have in the EU Parliament, so people can discuss things and come to an agreement. There shouldn't be bars that you can go and get drunk in because you're working. It should be 9 to 5, so you can work around childcare. Like if you're a primary caregiver, how the hell can you be an MP at the same time if a vote doesn't happen till 7:30 at night? And
plus
get
the
like
wage
12.
should match national averages, and then we'll see who's actually in it for for the good, rather than it's like
and no second house in London. It's far too expensive.
No second jobs.
Wherever you have the Parliament, you have a special secured hotel. You can make it nice, but they stay in the hotel. That's it. They do that in other parliaments around the world. If you're in, if you have to go to the capital to vote, they put you up in a particular hotel.
And
why we're paying for second homes in the most expensive bit of real estate in the entire world is beyond me.
Well, and then you've also got the aspect that they use that title as a conduit or a segue into really well-paid second jobs to lobby. So a lot of the laws and the legislation and the policy is more driven by the second job they might have working in the gambling industry. Scott Benton looking at you, that or old Lord Frackenshire, Jacob Rees, who is in it with Crispin O'Day and the fossil fuel industry and all of that. That like they're up to their and this impacts the kind of legislation. Who cares if they go against their manifesto pledges, because it doesn't matter to them. They're just filling their pockets whilst they can, because they know that they must know they're doomed.
Well, I mean, why would one of the richest women in the country want her husband to be prime minister at a £150,000 a year job? Why would she want him to have that job if it wasn't to make things better for her? Of course, it's all about non-dom. Well, then that's big part of why they do the wealth of the wealthy. It's all the Tories want to do, and it's I expect the wealthy to vote for the Conservatives. There's an old truism that if you want to turn a lifelong Labour voter into a Conservative voter, have them win the national lottery. Simple as that. It's when people with nothing vote for the Conservatives. It's like when people living in a swamp in Alabama vote for the Republicans in America. You're like, these people aren't going to help you. In fact, what little you have, they want to take it away. So they
it's a wholesale con, isn't it?
Varnish the floor of their super yacht.
Precisely, and what those people need to realize is that it's not going to serve them. Like, they're literally just a little cog or a conduit for those people. So what they'll do is they'll divide, they'll conquer, they'll throw out just enough stuff to play on the prejudices of people that don't have much, that want to blame the person next to them instead of the person at the top.
Absolutely.
And they just con the crap out of them, they con them, and then that they get to rake it in whilst they're in that position of power, and they do nothing to make life better for that poor person. Nothing.
You're absolutely
if anything, it's so low down on their list of priorities, it's offensive. So
I guess that people are more concerned with what other people are doing with their lives than what's going wrong in their own lives. And I think there's an interesting bit of psychology behind that, in terms of it's a lot easier to criticize anybody else, someone else, than it is to actually address the shortcomings or problems in your own life. And I think that plays into politics, and why you see people who literally have nothing voting for a party that's just going to not help them in any way, shape or form.
It's because they believe the nonsense, right? Because there's really powerful marketing tools at play, like nostalgia and nationalism.
Toxic nostalgia.
Really, really powerful marketing tools. And, a flag doesn't have a meaning until you assign it one. And what they've done is they've taken the Union flag, they've reclaimed it, they've, patriotism. People don't really think about what patriotism is. And the thing is with politics too, when you bring that into politics, most people who are just trying to get by have only a real kind of peripheral view of politics, and they get their knowledge from largely the press. and the press is so hard skewed towards the right and the Conservatives, like all mates. And then you look at the BBC, which has got 3 Tories at the very top running it and controlling the output. I mean, they control the comms, right? Control the comms, you control the population.
Yep.
So people don't look deeper because they're too busy probably just trying to survive, or they're not interested.
Well, wasn't the head booker of Question Time, wasn't she a Tory? And that's why the Tories just got a free ride on it, and Nigel Farage got to go on it like a million times.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's again riddled with Tories. I mean, you look at Fiona Bruce's husband. Isn't he a Tory? I can't remember what it is now. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, he's involved with the Conservative Party.
Yeah.
And you've got like Richard Sharp, who donated over 400 grand to the Conservatives and facilitated an 800 grand loan for Johnson.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
impartial, Tan, impartial.
I didn't know until I was researching all that the culture secretary and the Prime Minister chooses the BBC chair.
Yeah.
And if they don't like the people that are put forward for it, they can just keep rerunning the contest as much as they want until they get someone that they want. Yeah. And I wonder what it was about the 800.
Mind, doesn't it?
Well, I was going to say, I wonder what it is about the 800 grand loan that made Richard Sharp so appealing for the job.
Well, Duke Vengeance has just pointed out that Fiona Bruce's husband works for a company that does advertising for the Tory party.
Yeah. There's only so I can keep in my brain.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, we've got a few comments in here about the Tories like being professional seat warmers. Are there to hinder progression so the rich and powerful can treat the country as a personal piggy bank. HK is pointing out that racism works well, which is true. Duke is saying they took the flag and shagged it to death. Vendetta saying, look at your bank account. If you don't have 6 to 7 plus figures and you vote Tory, you're a moron, which is kind of fair enough. The booker was far right, and the reason why a bunch of fascists kept getting booked. That's from Vendetta. And also in the audience of Question Time, we kept on seeing the same National Front people in the audience getting to ask questions.
Yeah. And these people think they are patriots, right? Patriotism is self-respect, right? It's wanting your country to be better, knowing you deserve better, reclaiming, not,
and that includes everyone in the country. Do you know what I mean? Like, but they don't want anyone else to be doing any better, especially if they're different. And they don't want the actual country to be greener, for the air to be cleaner, for the water not to have sewage in. I mean, there's so many things that like we could do to make this country better and the people's lives who live in this country better, and we choose not to do them. And people call themselves patriots. It's like, just because you watched a documentary about bloody Spitfires doesn't make you a patriot, mate.
Yeah, and those Tories that you're revering, right? They'd burn a £50 note in front of you. Like, this is the thing. You're not in their gang. You're a means to an end to be used, taken for a mug in order for them to get what they want. They're literally they're figuratively stepping on your head to get to where they want to go.
Absolutely.
Like they don't have populism is just branding, right? That's all it is. It is literally just branding. And you know, they're churned out of this eat and toff factory. Did you see that thing that was shared by Sam Bright the other day about a question that's asked to kids at
like 11 years old? You need to justify the police literally murdering innocent people.
And not just that, but it's the very fact that there's a question that gives you that's around being prime minister.
Yeah.
I mean, you just think about that place. I mean, it's unbelievable. And all the while, like, you know, they're getting subsidized.
Yeah, subsidized by the taxpayer. So that we fund their shooting ranges and their the oars for their boats, and
they make millions.
We help fund their skis for their skiing holidays.
Yeah, all the while, like that's probably like, you know, if they don't get us to pay for it, they get a donor to pay for it. That's going to get like a little backhander or get a little, you know, bit of policy that will work out. For him, so we can keep making his minute. It's just so depressing, man.
It is.
And all the while we're treated with contempt. You know, we're brainwashed that it's benefit cheats that are the problem. People have
people with nothing are the problem. That's who the problem is. And then I always remember years ago, there was a front page on one of the rags. It was probably like the Mail, and it was freaking out about this woman who had 7 children, and she got like 15 grand off the government she's nothing. Do you know what I mean? And you know, she's calling her a welfare queen and all this kind of stuff. And then on the right of the page, like just in a little tiny column on the front page, was the fact that Gary Barlow owed 20 million in taxes that he hadn't paid. And it's just like, where's the rage going? It's not towards the tax dodging millionaires, is it? It's always a single mum in
this is the thing, and this is why Paul O'Grady was such a cool icon, man. Like, because he'd go on the One Show and he'd stick up for the working classes, like, because there was that thing about that benefit street, that horribly, like that. It was called like poverty porn, wasn't it, for a while?
Yeah.
And
well, that's what Jeremy Kyle always was, wasn't it? That was
God,
a public school boy baiting people with nothing into fighting on television and tearing their lives apart for entertainment.
He would humiliate addicts. He would know that, like, we've never had enough addiction services.
This is a lad who was born into money and he went to a private school, and then he goes on TV to tell people who have no money and went to a comprehensive school, were failed by the system, failed by the state, probably failed by their parents, who no fault of their parents other than they just didn't have the money to have the time to dedicate to their kids, and just humiliating people for entertainment on television. And it culminated in I guess, killing themselves. And just, how was that allowed to go on so long?
I know, like, I watched the documentary a little while back, and I was raging watching that documentary about the people that took their own lives and the people that just lapped it up, and you know, he destroyed people's lives.
Yeah.
And they would lie to them as well. They'd take them backstage, feed them a load of nonsense that the other person was apparently saying. But people like Paul O'Grady were good uns, because he'd go on and he would say, look, this is exploitative. This is, you know, there's no equality in this. There's, you know, he would stand up and take a stand. And I miss the man. Like, he's a proper loss to Britain.
Absolutely. And we need, you know, again, every time someone that I love or respect, I might not have met them, you know, they might be a celebrity, but in a way, it's like having a mutual friend. It's someone that you and I both know. You know, they might not know us, but it's a connection. It's a human connection that we make with these people. And so
we definitely had a rager with him. He was a renowned, you know, he was renowned at the party.
Yeah, but I some people go, oh, why are you getting upset about this celebrity dying? And I'm like, because they touch my life in some way.
Yeah.
So you know, that's just the way I am. But the fact is that, like, in the last few years, for every 100 people that I love and respect who have died, one Barkley brother has died. One person who I absolutely hate and would rather see not in this world has gone. And it's like the proportions are just wrong. And I just think that those evil old Rupert Murdoch types, I think they're just drinking unicorn blood to keep them alive or something. I don't know.
Children in their cellars, haven't they? Like,
harvesting the virility of children in order to keep them young.
Yeah, it's like Mr. Burns. Like, it reminds me. It reminds me of that Bill Hicks. Was it Bill Hicks that did the Vanilla Ice? I think it was Bill Hicks. The Vanilla Ice thing. It's like some icons died, and yet it's Vanilla Ice
still alive.
Yeah, it's like, I've butchered that, but there will be people that will know that better than me. I'm running on empty. Like, I had like a full glass of at barely 11 a.m. My neighbour John was insisting that I drink it. And I was like, "Oh, go on then." But my brain is warped today. But no, it's been PMQs. It was a bit of a, like, from what I caught of it, because it was chaos.
It was chaos. Sorry about that. Between the live stream
and don't be
your
silly,
internet going tits up, my internet going tits up, and my computer straining under the weight of having three video feeds coming in at once.
I think largely it was Starmer went in with a focus on crime stats again.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like a bit of an offensive gotcha back attempt from Sunak. But the thing is, like what Starmer said was absolutely accurate in terms of our public services being their asses. And he has been consistently saying that. And then you get all the people, like when Labour start, like there's lots of people that don't like Labour on the left who will say, oh, Starmer's, he's weak, he's not attacking enough. So Labour come out with attacks. Oh, well, not like that. And it's like, and then, but he has been consistently over the last couple of months. Like I've seen the videos, like he's calling out the failings in our public services.
I mean, look, I'd rather take an imperfect Starmer and a Labour Party that we have some modicum of access to, and also will be held accountable for anything they do.
Well, of course they will, because like they've got.
It's not like it's going to be ignored by the tabloids if they start taking, bungs off mysterious donors or have a VIP lane for their mates who own a pub down the road to give them millions of pounds of our money. They're not going to be. The tabloids aren't going to let them get away with that.
Well, no one is, and also like they are much easier to influence from inside. Like they will listen to their members because they're going to want to retain power if they get it. Yeah. So we've got way more power to lobby, and that's what we intend to do. I mean, that's what I intend to do. Like people think, oh, it's game over if they get in. No, that's when the work begins, because there's loads of stuff that I personally want Labour to do, such as like repealing certain laws that the Tories have brought in, giving us a fairer voting system. There's lots to do if Labour get in, and
we're gonna be helping, Tan. That's the whole point of Labour Social. We're gonna be there needling them, saying, oi, UBI, UPR, the EU, come on.
Well, no, exactly. But the thing is with the EU, we've got to be realistic about gradual realignment. We can't. We've got.
Mate, come on. Let's just go straight back in. Let's go back in without lube. That's what I want to do.
Mate, if we could, I would. But we can't. Like, it's not that simple.
I want a single market. I want customs union. I want Schengen. I want freedom of movement. I want the euro, and I want everyone speaking German.
Yeah. Not a lot then.
That's going to be clipped up now, and it's going to be like, see what the remoters want now. Anyway, listen, Tam, we should probably wrap this up because we have been yakking for an hour. We got loads of great comments from everyone. People, we're talking about Navarra Media and Owen Jones, who's now pushing for the people to vote for the Green Party. This is the guy who's missed the purity test. The guy who's always like, oh, did you not vote for Labour in 2005 because you were on holiday at the time? Oh, well, you don't get to say anything then, do you? He's now... If
you're talking about Owen Jones, there's no chance that I can avoid swearing. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, we'll cut that out. We'll cut it there. But I just want to put out a big thank you to Paul Ewan, who has put £5 in there in the super chat. So thank you very much, Paul. We really appreciate it. And I will be back tomorrow at what time? At 9:30. No, I won't. Sorry, I'm talking bollocks. Phil Morehouse will be here tomorrow at 9:30 for Morning Brew. So please come along to that. That's going to be live. And me and Tan are going to be, we've done a show, haven't we, called The Intersection, which will be going up later today or tomorrow, depending on how quick my computer... Yeah, it's all done. It's all edited. It's just that I've got Adobe Premiere, and I started rendering it last night, and it was like, I left it, normally you go to bed and it only takes a couple of hours, so you wake up in the morning and it's ready. It was only like 20% through. And I was like, you're kidding me. It was like, 16 hours to go. And I'm like, what the hell is it? So I'm basically having to, today, I'm going to wipe everything off my laptop. We'll put it onto a hard drive, reinstall the whole Adobe suite and get rid of all my cookies and all that kind of stuff and see if I can actually get it to work. But that should be going up later today or tomorrow. So look out for that. And Tan, will you'll be chatting along with us at some point, won't you? We'll do a live thing like this.
Yeah, we definitely need to. Yeah, we'll be doing. We've got a few things that we need to get sorted out. Definitely,
we do. I'm going on Aid Thompson's podcast on Tuesday.
Oh, nice! Good old Aid and his other disappointment. I love Aid. He's a good. We're all friends here.
Aid Thompson and other disappointments. So I'm going to be one of the disappointments. So
yeah. Do you know what? He's a lot of fun to talk to. He and I have done it so many times now that we always end up going down like insane rabbit holes. We have about 3 wines, and
I've seen a few of them. I'm planning to have a couple of beers while I'm chatting as well.
Yeah,
so
do it. Like it. Well, that'd be wicked. Yeah,
Cool.
look out for that.
All right. Well, everyone, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9:30 for Morning Brew. And until then, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.
Fucking hell.
Hang on.